Well, it's a long story. Do you have the time? Yeah, well, we started in 2006. Well, the composing started after the first album, like 2004 to 2006. And then in 2006, we went to the studio to record the drums, the guitars, and the bass, like, the meat and potatoes. But because I had like this huge vision for this album to make like a really big wall of sound with a lot of orchestral layers and a lot of samples and effects and stuff. So then the problem started because everything was supposed to be recorded in my home studio with my, home PC, and I didn't really have, the computer power to do those big orchestrations. And I quickly realized that, oh shit, I've kind of jumped into this big problem here, like how I'm gonna do this. So then the battle started, like I started ordering like faster PCs. And, they were faster, but, there was a lot of like issues with projects crashing and, even one PC that I ordered came like broken from the post office. So I was like, this album is cursed or something. So we dealt two years with those problems. And then in 2008, we went to the negotiating table with our record label, Nuclear Blast. And we asked them to give us a little bit more, like advance budget. So that we could get a Mac Pro, so that would hopefully work better. And they, at the same time, they suggested that, because the album was originally just called Time, they suggested that we should split it into two albums, Time 1 and Time 2. And we said, yeah, why not? Let's do it, because anyways, there's over 80 minutes of material. So do like a 2 45-minute albums is like enough. So then we made those decisions and I got the new Mac Pro, and that actually first time helped me to start like working on the orchestrations like properly. But there was still like, it wasn't like there was still like lack of power. So I had to use a lot of like time consuming workarounds. So it took like 3 years to do all those orchestrations and also vocals at the same time, because I was recording the vocals at various rehearsal places in Helsinki because we didn't have the budget to record the vocals in real studio. Part of it is because there was a lot of vocal layers, and I also wanted to like practice more this time the vocals and record them properly, because for the first album it's just like, because I was living in an apartment building, I never got to practice singing. So I wanted to like record them at rehearsal places so I could like take multiple takes and practice at the same time. So where I was, then in 2011 I got the Time 1 like mix finished. The orchestration finished 2011, and then 2012 I got the mix done for Time 1 and we released the album. But then we went on touring for 2 years from 2012 to 2014, and at the same time I continued mixing Time 2, and it was still like a big problem because I wanted to like really lift the mixing quality, because I wasn't fully happy with the Time 1 mix. I had to like mix Time 1 like really simply and small way, like only use few plugins and so on, because it had like thousands of like, well, not thousands, but over 1,000 tracks, especially like Sons of Winter and Stars. So like very minimalistic mixing. Mm-hmm. But then in 2014 I was like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot get it to the level where I want this album to be. So I had a little burnout, like I need to quit and put this album to the shelf and do something else. And then we went to this side road, which is now known as the Forest Seasons album, which is more basic, simple album to make. And I actually made the album like in 9 months. Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted to prove everyone like I can do albums fast. It just depends on what kind of album is it, and what kind of budget album is it. So yeah, then we did the Indiegogo campaign for the Forest Seasons to get better resources, to get the time to done and get this like WINTERSUN headquarters studio to have a proper studio to mix and master the album. But then we toured for 3 years the Forest Seasons album, and after that I wasn't really yet like fully, because we didn't get the WINTERSUN headquarters. I got this semi-studio because we planned to do like three campaigns. So the first one we didn't like get all the funding, but it was enough to get this like semi-studio where I'm right now. So in 2020 I started making 4 new albums because I've been really excited about this new material, and I wasn't really yet ready to go back mixing time too. And then last year in August, one of those albums came really close to being finished, but I wasn't really like confident about the sound yet. Like this sound isn't really for this album, but I was like, it was a good sound. I was happy with the sound, but not for that album. So I was like, could this fit on time too? And then I started like trying and kind of copy pasting from project to project, the guitar sound, the drum sound, the bass sound. First it was like, okay, this could be something, and I started working on it a little bit more, and then things just started clicking together, and I was like, holy shit, I think it's time to mix this finally and get it done. Yeah, everything was recorded, like was done, finished recording at 2011, all the orchestrations, all the music. It was just the mixing and mastering. So yeah, then last August I started mixing it, and then I finished the mixing like around end of November, beginning of December. But I mixed it in silence and in secret. I didn't want to tell anyone, even the band guys, because I didn't want to disappoint anyone again. So, but I got it done, and then I told the band guys, and then this year in January we really announced to the fans that it is done. Yeah, well, there was one band, I forgot the name, but it was more like a metalcore band or something. They got like 300K from their crowdfunding when they did it before us, and that kind of inspired me. Like, holy shit, this could be something like that we could do and get better resources and better studio to mix time too. So it was quite risky and like quite crazy to do it, but we didn't want to do like traditional crowdfunding, although we call it crowdfunding, which caused a little bit of like a confusion. But it was just like we wanted to do like a finished product and then just sell it, like take pre-orders. But we call it still crowdfunding, and we told people where the money is going for and so on. We wanted to be transparent about everything. But yeah, it was a huge success for the first time, and then this time it was even bigger success. So I'm really happy, but it's crazy. Like there's a lot of pressure doing these sort of campaigns, and a lot of pressure to deal with. No, well, maybe the Forest Seasons has been the only album in my career that I've been like 100% like happy with. It's because that album wasn't meant to be perfect. It was supposed to have rough edges and be a little primitive. For Time 2 is probably the second album that I'm most happy about, but maybe 90% happy. But people think I'm like a perfectionist. I've never been like a fully perfectionist. I've always released album like very compromised and not being fully happy with them. but I still like, I just feel it like when it's time to like put it out, like it's good enough. Japan for sure, but more generally the Eastern Asian exotic culture. I don't know what it is, but it has always like been something magical to me. It's probably because even when I was 6 years old, I played this Commodore 64 game called Last Ninja and Last Ninja 2. And the places where the hero, the ninja, was taking his adventure had these like Asian gardens, and the soundtrack was amazing. So that influenced me very early on. And that has always been in games and movies, after the first album, these movies started coming out, like Hidden Dragon, Crouching Tiger, Memoirs of a Geisha. I really love those soundtracks and the magical world that they are in. So that has always been a part of like my life. Even like when I play guitar and just do the basic pentatonic scale, you can phrase those notes in certain ways to make it sound like exotic and Asian. So yeah, I don't know where it comes from, but yeah, nature is, has always been a big part of WINTERSUN music, especially with the forest seasons. I wanted to explore fully, with the first album. Yeah, it was the winter experience. But then on Time albums, it's more like yeah, there's winter also, but I would say like spring, autumn experience. But then the forest seasons was all the seasons. And Time 2 is well, the forest seasons was actually kind of influenced by Time 2, because it's kind of the same album structure, song wise, like especially with the last two songs. There's like the second last song, kind of dark track, and then more beautiful calm track as the last song. So yeah, I don't know, but the forest seasons, when I went to this side road, I was just taking a walk and jog in the nearby forest, and I don't know, that day it was something magical, how the sun was just coming down from the trees and creating this like insane light, and it was just like, and then I remembered like this one riff that I had from my riff library, and I was like, I need to make a song about this experience. Then I jogged back quickly to home and started making the song, and the song is actually The Forest That Weeps. Mm-hmm. So that gave me the influence to make the Forest Seasons album. I wish I could go more often. I don't have the money to travel like that, but we've toured in Japan and China. So, and one time, and those were really, really great experiences. But I wish I could go there like more as a tourist to see all those gardens and stuff, and hopefully someday. Yeah, I made little voice things like with the melodies, like the Asian kind of phrasing. Yes, there's a lot of like not real. They are like from sample libraries, like MIDI instruments, because I don't really have the budget to hire like professional players and to fly them from, I don't know where they live. I don't know if there's any players in Finland who play air or something like that. But hopefully in the future, if there's enough like a recording budget, I could use like real players. But those sample libraries are pretty great. You can get pretty cool results with them. You have to work a lot to make them sound like fitting to the song. But yeah, if you work on it, you can make it like and especially if you mix it with other instruments, you can make like a really nice like a whole, like you can make really, really nice music.
Yeah, sure.
For example, the Silver Leaves intro, there's like a lot of guitars mixed in with those traditional, Asian instruments. So it works really nicely together. reflection for sure. But yeah, for time 1 and time 2, the lyrics all have like a red line, like all the songs are about time, but dealing with in different perspectives and with different topics. For example, The Way of the Fire talks about, you know, the fire, of course, but universe, the energy, the sun. And, you know, energy is constant motion. And when things are in constant motion, that is kind of what creates time. And that is what time is. So yeah, and also personal stuff. But I like to leave that stuff like vague. I prefer like people take their own meanings to their own life. So there's like one verse or one sentence even could have like 3 different meanings that you know, that have 3 different metaphors to my personal life, to the universe, and I don't know. Well, I can't think of anything right now.
Everyone can have their own interpretation.
Yeah, and there is kind of this like I don't know if you would call it hero journey, but like this dynamic with both album structures, you know, like how you battle with life and, you know, time, and, you know, there was already battle against time in the first album, but it's both albums deal with like life and what is life and the meaning of it all, and dealing about those big questions.
Okay.
Of course, you cannot probably have any answers, but but maybe you can maybe everyone can find something from the albums that they can apply to their own lives and give some sort of meaning. Yes, we're gonna still continue our touring break. It's because I want to continue making the album that was also like almost finished, and I'm really excited about that album. So I just want to continue and get that done as soon as possible. And it's also because I felt after we toured with the Forest Seasons 3 years, after touring, people were already breathing down my neck, like, where's the next album? So it was like a lot of pressure. So now I just want to have that like at least few years, you know, to work in my own piece and not to deal with like that kind of pressure. And then we'll see after that album what's the situation with everyone in the band, and we'll see if we go on the road.